All right, Rob
There
G.
we are.
Let's start here from last night, Thursday Night Football.
I don't know if it was entertaining or a snooze fest.
Well, it started out as a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Defense sometimes is good, but the Texans won a big ball game.
They did.
They really did. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They neutralized, right?
Josh Allen.
Mr. Josh Allen, and they won their third straight without CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 3-0 without their starting quarterback. Their defense is good. Rob G, just give us a little take on what happened Thursday night.
Yeah, it was a game dominated by that Texans defense.
Yeah.
It was quite possibly the most impressive defensive performance we've seen by any NFL team in years. Not just because of who they did it against. Josh Allen, of course, is great. But Houston's defense, 2 picks, 1 forced fumble, 3 total takeaways, 8 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, 12 pressures, held Buffalo to 0 for 2 in the red zone, and in the process, held the team to less than 20 points for the 8th time already this season. So basically 70% of the games, they're keeping you under 20 points. And in the process, you mentioned it, they did it without their starting quarterback, CJ Stroud. Davis Mills and all that neck had himself a very solid game. The numbers don't quite do it justice, but in the process, last 3 games, Davis Mills completing about 60% of his passes, 719 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, 88 passer rating. He's gone 113 consecutive passes without an interception.
Which is great.
That's
That's what you want from your backup when they come in.
He's only been sacked 6 times in the last 3 games, which is a lot because their O-line has not been great throughout the season.
Say the least.
And their 3 wins, 2 of them, Buffalo, of course, last night, and Jacksonville, the first game, have come against playoff teams in the AFC.
And I'm going to say this. I'm not overreacting or, the hyperbole or anything. I'm going to stick with Davis Mills and not automatically run back to C.J. Stroud if I'm the Texans. And I'm not saying that C.J. Stroud lost his job because of injury or anything. Sometimes you have something going, a hot hand. I think that you could take a look at that. And obviously the defense is playing really well. But what have we talked about the last year and a half? Their offense with C.J. Stroud, right? Like remember, after his rookie year, go back and look. Everybody picked him to go to the Super Bowl.
They did.
Am I right?
That was
Am
a
I
sexy
overreacting?
pick.
It was.
No, you weren't. You were not. That was a sexy pick.
Oh yeah, the C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Oh my God,
he was MVP. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, he's just a rookie. Look at how you going to stop that kid? Blah 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 blah. And it's been raggedy since then, since year one. Last year, like every week we watch, they can't score. That's why I said to you before, when they scored the 40 points against Baltimore, like that was an aberration. That was Baltimore. That wasn't them because they don't do that. And I'm not saying this is not Davis Mills putting up 40 points a game and, oh, my God, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
C.J. Stroud can never get back in there or whatever it is. That's not what I'm saying. Something's working here. 3-0. Couple of wins against playoff teams. Do you remember? It's a little different, but you remember this. When the Orlando Magic upset LeBron James and the Cavaliers to get to the NBA Finals. That was the NBA Finals we were waiting on. Kobe and LeBron. Do you remember, Rob G, the puppets? Remember the Muppets of those guys? All year. That was supposed to be the Finals, and it never happened. You know why? Because Dwight Howard and Turkoglu and Skip to Malou.
Yeah.
Okay?
They had a nice little squad.
And then what happened? They got to the Finals. They changed their rotation. Skip to Malou not starting anymore. Let's put Jameer Nelson, who hadn't played in 2 months, three. Like he was their guy. I get it. But he hadn't played in like 2 or 3 months. He got healthy, ready to play in the Finals. They messed up everything that team had going. I would say, Jameer, you're our guy. We got something. I can't make that change. Skip to Malou was leading that team as the point guard.
He's still upset about it to this day. To this day.
And rightfully so, though, because you get the team to the Finals, and then you make a lineup change. I'm just saying. I'm not saying the Texans aren't in the Super Bowl or whatever, And I'm not saying CJ Stroud's washed there and move on, or Davis Mills has taken his job and he can't get it back. I'm waiting for Davis Mills to have a bad game. That's what I'm waiting for him to go back, turn into a pumpkin, and then I could go back to CJ Stroud after that. But I'm not making a change until he plays poorly and the team loses.
You know what? I wanted to go crazy at you because I thought as you were setting it up, I didn't know how far you were going to go with this. And I thought you were basically saying, CJ Stroud, get out of here for the whole time. You know, like basically no more, this is Davis Mills' team. So I was ready to go crazy at you, but then you brought it back down. I'll give you an example.
I never went there.
Yeah.
You
never gone crazy?
No.
You want me to check all my texts from
everybody?
Go ahead. Your boy, I heard your boy. You know what I'm going to give you? I'm gonna even add to what you were saying. Steve Berline, was that 91? I think it was 91 playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. With the yep, it was.
Berline, Berline,
with
wow.
the Cowboys. Comes in, Troy Aikman is Troy Aikman. We know what he's doing. They're playing well. He gets injured. They have been playing really well. Berline comes in. But they were playing okay. He gets them a list. They go on a run. I think they ran like 6-something straight. They were just all of a sudden playing great. The offense was vibing. And they decided to go with him instead of Troy Aikman, who got back healthy in the postseason. They ultimately would lose, and to this day they debate that if you watch the Jerry Jones doc, you know, Troy Aikman's still upset about it. Jimmy Johnson's, you know, still, hey, I went with what I thought, to your point. I went with the hot guy. I went the guy that got us a bunch of wins. So that's an example of
I don't
what
think,
your point is.
Yeah, and it's not to disrespect CJ or say, you know, you lost your gig, you got hurt, and you're out. But I like what they have going.
The only reason why I'll challenge you is because they started to get something going prior to CJ going down. So CJ was starting to get it going. We know the offensive line had been much maligned. They had not been playing well, had him running for his life. But then the last few games, CJ started to get it going. So before the injury, he had a 3-1 record, Rob. He had wins over the Ravens, the 49ers. He had 9 touchdowns, only two interceptions. And then they were beating the Broncos before he went down with that concussion. So that could have been maybe 4-1. And so they were starting to right the ship, starting to get this thing going. And again, with a defense like that, they were always in it. So if he were looking like he were the end of last season, beginning of this season, I would totally get what you're saying. And I would say, you know what, I can't really argue with you. The only thing was, to me, CJ was starting the ball. Again, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3-1 record. They were rolling. He started to pass the ball, but get more yardage. The offense was getting more explosive.
A lot of that was in that Baltimore game.
No, I'm talking about just other games as well.
But I'm saying a lot of the 9 touchdowns, right?
I mean, you look at the Niners game, which was right here. So he goes 30 for 39, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was playing very well. So this is the Baltimore game. He had 244 and 4 touchdowns.
See, that's what I'm saying. The bulk of 4 TDs is a big day. I don't know when was the last time CJ Stroud had 4 touchdowns.
Maybe the rookie year,
you know what I mean?
Just to jump on the limb. But my point was, he was getting it going. He was turning the corner. The team was. So that's why I'm going back to him. I get what you were saying if this were the earlier part of the season, because you look at the beginning of the season for him.
It was bad.
0 touchdowns and an interception, only 188 yards. 207 yards, touchdown, no interceptions, but it was still a loss. Another loss to the Jags, and he had 200 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. You know what I mean? So that beginning, if we were sitting here and it was after that, I'd totally be with you. But for me, it just changes because he was starting to play well. 3-1, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They were heading in the right direction. So it's his job to lose while playing not injured for me.
All right,